Hey everybody, my name is Andrea Mathis. I am your instructor for the summer in Calculus 2 here at Northeast Mississippi Community College. I wanted to take a minute to introduce myself and kind of show you around the course. If you are already pretty familiar with Canvas, then I don't think you'll have any trouble at all navigating our course. If you are already familiar with My Open Math, which is the math assignment software slash websites slash whatever you system, whatever you want to call it, that we use here at Northeast for most of our math classes, then you're not going to have any trouble being able to do anything at all in this class because Canvas and My Open Math are the two things that we use in the online class. So let me share my screen so that you guys can see if I can find where I have. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now you can see the screen here. This is your Canvas course. I'm inside it right now. This is actually the modules page. I have a welcome page that I forgot to make the home page for this class, so I'll be doing that after I get the video made. It's got a link to your syllabus on it, as well as the two textbooks we use for Cal 2. We do have a few sections in the Calculus 1 volume, or the Cal Volume 1, I guess I should say it that way, that OpenStax has. And then the rest of the material that we use in this class is from the second volume of that series. But I've got links to both so that they're really easy to get to, whether you want to go in and take a look at your textbook to start out with, or if you need to go back to it later, you can use that link as well. I believe the sections are linked in the modules too, so you can find them from the modules page as well. So what you're looking at right now on the screen, this is the modules page. I may change around our navigation links because that's something else that I just remembered that I had not done yet. So I may change those around just a little bit, but you'll see the same basic ones. You'll also have announcements up here. I've got to do our first announcement. So at the moment, there's nothing in the announcements so that the page doesn't pop up unless they're there. So that will pop up over here on the navigation side too once I get that one completed today. My plan is to have you guys a new announcement for each week of the semester so that you know exactly what's due by looking just at that announcement. You can see all of the things that you'll be doing that week from there. Um, I know that a lot of people live and die by the to-do list on the Canvas homepage. That's how a lot of people keep up with what's due when, but I do encourage you to come back to this modules page because in addition to the assignments being here, obviously, there are also links to your textbook, links to a bunch of different videos that you can go and watch and find out, how to work any of the problems that you have in the homework assignments. So there's lots of resources and things that are here on the modules page that you won't ever see by just doing the to-do list from the Canvas main page, okay? So you want to be sure that you take a look at that. So let me go ahead and just sort of step through. If you have taken an online class at Northeast, these first two modules you see here are going to be very familiar looking to you because we have these same ones each semester. We change dates and that type of thing in there, but they're essentially the same modules that have been in there for a long time. So if we look at the Getting Started Summer 2026, what you'll need to do, especially if you've never taken an online class before at Northeast, you want to go down through and read these, okay? They're full of resources just for online classes in general, not specific to this Cal 2 class, but just generally speaking. There's also a little getting started quiz down at the bottom. That quiz is not going to count toward your grade. You can take it if you want to, but honestly, reading through the material and then reading the syllabus that I have specific for the class, that's going to be, more important to you anyway. So you can do it if you want to, but it's not going to count towards your grade or against you. We have other assignments due this week, and so it's not even going to count towards attendance. You can do the other assignments and you're fine. The second one is proctored exams. Make an appointment to take exams with a testing center. This gives you a little bit more information about proctored exams. If you've never taken an online class, or if you've never taken one with us specifically, please be sure you read through these. So it's going to give you information about how that works here at Northeast. I'll talk a little bit about it too. We do have 3 proctored exams. Okay. I apologize for that because I know it's summer and that's kind of a tight space to have to take 3 proctored exams. But in order to guarantee, or at least get as close to a guarantee as I possibly can, that the students are getting credit for a class, or actually the students are doing the work in the class, um, I feel like we need those. Okay. There'll be a test at the end of Unit 1. There'll be a test at the end of Unit 2, and then the final exam, which will be comprehensive over the whole semester, is at the end of Unit 3. So you will have things from Unit 1 and Unit 2, whether they are questions specifically from those units, or if they're a question from Unit 3 that just utilizes some of the things that you learned in Unit 1 and Unit 2. That's still comprehensive, okay? So you'll have some of those types of questions on the final as well. You do have a review exercise for each one of those tests. The tests are going to be very similar to the review. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to get prepared for those tests just as much as you possibly can. And we'll talk more about each individual test as we get a little closer in time to those. But I wanted to go ahead and be upfront about the fact that you will have to take those proctored, and I don't use online proctoring. You will have to take them at um, a proctoring center. If you are in the state of Mississippi, you can take them for free at any of the community colleges in the state. So just whichever one you're closest to, if you'll make an appointment to take it with them in their e-learning center, it will be free. If you are not close enough to a community college in the state, or if you're out of state and you need to take it out of state, you can still find approved centers by going through Smarter Proctoring to set up your appointment. But most of the time, those proctoring centers do charge a fee. If you are taking an exam at one of the universities in the state, like Mississippi State or Ole Miss, they charge fees as well. It's usually not a ridiculous amount of money. I think $25 to $30 typically, which is a lot if you're considering the fact that there are 3. But if you do online proctoring, you still have to pay for that too. So there's not really, other than going to a Mississippi Community College and taking it on campus, there's not really a low cost way to handle the proctored exams. Okay. Um, that is one thing that's kind of unfortunate, is that it does cost a little bit extra if you are going to do one of those other options. Hopefully you guys are all pretty close to Northeast, and you can just come take it here in our learning center. We have 3 campuses actually we have 4 campuses where we support proctoring, but I don't know that they're open in the summer. I know that we can proctor on campus in the summer in Boonville and probably Corinth, but I'm not sure about New Albany and Ripley. All right, so anyway, let's move on down to where we get started on our material. I have a little section that's called Welcome and Course Information. That's where the welcome page that I'll put as the home page is. But we've also got class informations and policies agreement. This is an assignment, okay? And this assignment just helps me make sure that you have read through all of the policies and that you understand the way I'm going to run the class before we even get started on the class. So I need you to go through this assignment, read the information that's there, read the syllabus, it's linked in there, as well as on the welcome page. And then you're not being tested on it or anything. You are just checking a checkbox at the end of each little section, each little question that says, I have read and I agree. Okay. That way, it's the same thing as like a syllabus contract, that kind of thing, where you sign to just stating, hey, I got a copy of the syllabus and I read through it. That way, if there's any disagreement about policy or whatever in the duration of the class, then I can always go back to this and say, I know for sure that you knew this policy because it's actually, you checked off on it. So that's all. The purpose there is to share information with you guys and to hopefully, smooth out any wrinkles that could happen during the process of the course. I've got another link to the syllabus here. I've got the syllabus posted everywhere I possibly can, just so you can see it somewhere. Then I've got also links to the Cal 1 textbook and the Cal 2 textbook. I should have put volume 2 right there. I'll go back in and change that, but that's volume 1 and volume 2. We do open our material in volume 1. We're actually in volume 1, 410 is the section number, antiderivatives. Some Cal 1 classes include antiderivatives in them, and so it's actually in volume 1 of the textbook. That's why it's sitting in there. So I want to say there's 2, maybe 3 sections that we'll be pulling back from volume 1, so I want to be sure you guys can access that textbook. OpenStax textbook is free. You can use it online without even logging in to any kind of system. You can also download a PDF copy of it, or if you really like to have a paper copy that you can hold in your hand, you can order them. I think Amazon sells them, and they may have another vendor as well, but all that information is there on the website that's linked in that welcome and course information section. So this is all laid out in the order that you should do the things. Okay, so it's pretty easy if you want to just follow the modules page to go through the class. So as you can see here, most of these are laid out the same way. You've got a read, and it's got the link to the section on that topic. You've got a view, and this is a page in Canvas that opens and gives you a link to all of the videos that have been done. I haven't looked at every single video for the whole calculus series, but I believe most of them are done by the Math is Power for You guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but a lot of the videos that we use here at Northeast in these courses that we've got in My Open Math are his videos. His videos are really good. And a lot of times he does specific examples that look just like the same homework problems that you're doing. So I think it's nice for that, because if you get stuck on something, it's kind of nice to be able to go back and watch the video and go, oh, that's what I forgot to do, or whatever it happens to be. So go back through those and look at those. I do not currently have any Cal 2 videos myself. If as we go through the semester, if I find something that we're kind of lacking on, I'll fill in the gaps with that. If I didn't think he was a great instructor and didn't have good videos, I would go back through and do some myself, but it's extremely time consuming to do that. And when you've got a resource like this that you could pull from and not have to redo them, that's a great thing. Okay. If you do have specific problems with anything on the homework assignments, and you let me know that by sending me a Canvas message and, let me know, hey, this is the problem. This is the homework set. This is the problem I'm working on. Here's my scratch paper, whatever. I may from time to time work them as a video and send you a video of me working through and talking through the problem, because I found that when I try to help students remotely with math problems like that, that's about the best way to do it. That, or working it out, taking a picture and sending it to you. Sometimes I don't have to, the explanation is not necessarily needed every single time. Sometimes you just need to see, oh, hey, I missed a negative sign over here, that kind of thing. So, but I do typically send either pictures or videos when I help people with problems they're having with their assignments. So, just know that, it's the help that I can give you is a little bit better than just trying to type it out in an email and explain what you did wrong. Not that that's a terrible thing or that it can't be fixed that way. I just think sometimes the picture or the video works a little bit better. So anyway, these are probably all going to be the Math is Power for You guy. In the different sections. And then after you watch the videos, you can do the exercises. And I beg of you, please do the exercises yourself. Okay. I think probably by the time you've gotten to Cal 2, you understand the importance of practicing math. But in the day of AI everything, there's a lot of students who are trying to sneak by letting AI do their homework assignments, and then they're trying to do the proctored exams themselves, and it's not working out very well at all. So I know there are good uses for AI. There are situations where you can get AI and use it kind of like a tutor. It's not necessarily always right. I do want to caution you on that. And I don't really have a problem with you using it for, help with problems and that kind of thing. I would really rather you ask me than ask the AI, but I know that, you're gonna, I'm gonna be a little slower to respond than the AI will. So I can't really blame you for that. But I do beg that you don't just use it to answer your problems on the assignments, okay? Because you really need to be working those problems to be able to learn them. It doesn't matter how many times you look at examples that are worked out for you. You will never learn how to do math on this level if you don't work the math that's on this level, if you're not doing it yourself. So anyway, um, you do have plenty of late passes. Late passes will open an assignment for the whole semester. So if you do wind up needing a little extra time to finish up an assignment, you can use those. Don't overuse them. Okay. Um, for one thing, you completing the assignments by the time they're due is how I take attendance. So if you are putting these assignments off, you're going to wind up getting counted absent. You're going to wind up maybe even getting cut out of the class because you have not been attending the class. Um, for online classes, the attendance rule is a little different. You have to, let me see if I'm getting this right. If you miss um, 2 class meetings, the third class meeting that you miss is when you'll get cut out. So by class meeting, I mean a due date, if you miss a due date. So if you don't do anything for a couple of weeks, that next week that you don't do anything, that's going to get you cut out. And it doesn't have to be consecutive. Okay. So if you miss a due date early in the semester, you get caught up, you miss another one, you get caught up, then later you miss another one, you get cut out on that one. So just be really aware and really careful of that. I also don't want your assignments to pile up on you. That's another reason why I don't want you to procrastinate, put them off, and have to do them late every single time. But the late passes are there if you do need them. Sometimes, you may be in a situation where you can get all of them done except one problem, and you've got to ask me for some help in order to do that one problem. And this way, it won't count against you to finish that homework assignment after I'm able to get with you and help you figure out how to do it. Okay. Um, if we click on start, here is what the problems look like. Up at the top, there is a link, and I think this is consistent for all of the assignments, but I'm not 100% sure. I need to go back and look at them again just to be sure, because some of the assignments, as I was going through them and looking at them, I didn't pay that close of attention to this box up at the top, but I think they all have a link to your textbook and the video links there as well that you can access. Many of the problems themselves have a video link in them too. Most of the time, if a question has a video link, that video is either the same type problem as this one or the same exact problem, maybe with different numbers as this one, or it's really close to it. Okay. So if you're struggling with one particular type of questions, but maybe the other questions were really easy, maybe there's just something off about the way this one's worded or whatever. If you'll look at the video that's linked in that question, that should help you. Okay. I think most questions, if not all, like this last one down here, question 10 does not have a video link, but I believe most questions in the assignments do. Now, obviously, when you do a test or you do the exam, those links won't be there, right? So you got to be sure that you've practiced and you're ready to go when it comes time to take the exams. I'm going to back out. So that shows you kind of what the assignments look like. Like I said, I have them broken into unit modules. There's unit 1. At the end of unit 1, there's a review and then there's a proctored test. Unit 2 is the same way. At the end of unit 2, there's a review and then there's a proctored test. And then at the end of unit 3, we don't have a separate test for unit 3. It's just on the final with the rest of the material. So the review and the final exam are actually in that very last module down at the bottom that's marked final exam. All right, to get an appointment, and I would click on Smarter Proctoring, but it's not going to look the same as it will look for you anyway. But Smarter Proctoring, this link over to the side, is where you'll go to make an appointment to take the exams, okay, or the tests. The tests, I don't have an opening and a closing. Well, I've got a due date set on them, but I don't have a opening or closing date set for those. So I'll probably on Unit 1 test and Unit 2 test, I'm just going to leave those open. The final exam, though, I'll have a date, an opening date on it where you will not be able to um, take that too early because we're not supposed to give finals early. That's to be special permission for that. So it'll open up at the week that finals are due. If for some reason there is something going on and you do need to take it early, if you will let me know, we can make arrangements for that. I can make exceptions for you. Um, the main reason I think probably why they don't have it set up where everybody can take it early is just that we might have trouble with test security and that kind of thing if folks were taking it two very distinct different times. Um, Obviously, your grades, you can see your grades by going there. Announcements will be on here too, so there'll be a place where you can get to the announcements. You can set your Canvas up where your announcements are emailed to you. If you want to do that, you can do that by going into your profile in Canvas and making that selection. Um, I'll also set it up where they'll show up on our homepage as well, so you can get back to them that way too. Trying to think what else, if there's anything else that I want to mention to you right off the bat. This week, the main things are going to be going through all of this introductory material that's up here. And then I do have two sections. Once you get through your welcome course information, I've got two sections due this week. That's the antiderivatives and section 1.2, the definite integral. Now, that one is out of the Cal Volume 2, okay? The ones that are from Volume 1, it says out next to them in parentheses, the volume and then the section number. They are in that particular volume, so they're set up to look just a little bit different. Yeah, okay. So that's this first week is kind of short, so there's a lot to do in the first week. So let me know if if you have any trouble accessing any of that. And I'll be sending you guys an announcement and maybe a little message out here in just a little while since it's the first day of class. But my contact information's on there, but the easiest way to get a hold of me is through the Canvas message in inbox system. So if you got any questions, just reach out through there. I try to get questions from students answered within 24 hours. Every once in a while, it might be a little bit past that. If it's over the weekend, our week ends at noon on Fridays. So if your email comes in and I don't see it until I'm gone, it very well could be Monday before I get back to you. But within the week, the work week, I try to get it as close to, within 24 hours. If I'm sitting at my desk, I try to answer them as quickly as I can. So sometimes you'll be like, oh, Miss Mathis is on top of things. And then other times you may be like, I don't think she's ever going to speak to me. Did she get my email? But I promise I will get to it. I've just haven't gotten it yet. Or there are some instances where um, I'll look at it, I'll open it, and then I'll forget to go back to it. So if it's been more than 24 hours during the week, email me again because I may have just lost your email. Even though I try very hard not to read those unless I'm where I can answer them immediately, just so they don't go off my radar. Okay, that's everything I can think of. Y'all let me know if you have any questions. And I will turn the video off in a second if I can figure out how. Hang on. Here we go. Okay, now I'm gone. Bye.